sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
This Twins and White Sox series is brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200 with available all-wheel drive, America's import. It is a beautiful day today in Chicago for the final meeting of the season between these two teams. The Twins are hoping to salvage one game in the series after dropping both games in yesterday's doubleheader. Welcome inside U.S. Cellular Field here in Chicago. I'm Jamie Hirsch. Well, today actually marks the third game of baseball in 24 hours for these two clubs, so a lot of baseball. And Trevor May is hoping to give the Twins bullpen a break with a very good and long start today. Trevor May had some pretty good memories of facing the White Sox. After all, he got his first major league win against them just a couple weeks ago at Target Field. He pitched 5 innings with 3 earned runs and just 1 walk. May says he's learned a lot from watching Phil Hughes' approach to the game and wants to finish the season strong with that same aggressive approach.
My approach to the game is always, go after guys aggressively. And I feel like if every hitter I face for the rest of the year, I go after aggressively regardless of results. Because it's similar, like every year I go into, this is what I want to get done probably. And usually it's in August, but, this year it's in September. And my thing this year is if I can be aggressive to every hitter for the rest of the year, that's moving in the right direction. The results, they don't always come right away, but that's when you have to learn to do these things. But I feel like more and more I do that, the more I get to where it's a habit, and that's how I am all the time.
Now, Trevor May is in line to make just 3 more starts, including today on the season, so 3 more very important opportunities for him to go into the offseason on a high note. Still to come before first pitch, the Twins bid farewell to a Chicago staple. Dick and Bert shared their memories of Paul Konerko up next.
North is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Ram. Come in and get a great deal during Ram Truck Month going on now.
The Twins thought they had ended a short losing streak last night in the nightcap. In the ninth inning, Kurt Suzuki delivered a big two-out RBI double to give the Twins a late inning lead. That brought Glenn Perkins into the ball game, and it looked like the Twins were going to win the nightcap, but then Diane Viciedo with a man aboard made it a doubleheader sweep for the White Sox against the Twins, extending the Twins' losing streak now to 4 games. They hope to end it here in the final game of the year between the Twins and the White Sox. And we begin today with an apology. We have only one game to bring you today. We had a doubleheader loss in Cleveland on Thursday, another doubleheader loss yesterday. Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven hoping the Twins can win the road trip finale. He's not in the lineup today, but this is our only chance really to bid farewell to Paul Konerko, who has been an admirable opponent for the Twins, even though he's broken a lot of hearts along the way.
Well, there are a lot of great memories for Paul Konerko against the Minnesota Twins, against Eddie Gordado back in 2003 when they had the All-Star game here in Chicago. Konerko wasn't playing a lot, but he hit a big pinch hit home run that kind of turned their season around. 2 years later, they won the World Series. And then against Carl Pavano in 2010, just 4 years ago, got hit in the mouth. He kind of let that go, Dick, and then what did he do in his next at-bat?
Well, Konerko stepped up against Pavano and hit one out to left center field. Not only did he stay in the game, but he won over some points from his opposing manager.
He's got plenty of home runs on us. We've added to his totals, and I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to watch him trot around the bases, I guess if you can call it pleasure, a few too many times. He's a class act. He's been a very good baseball player over there, a clutch RBI guy, a clutch home run guy, and you know what, when you think about the Chicago White Sox, his name is going to be up there at the tops.
And oddly enough, not in the lineup today because he suffered a broken hand in the 2-game series the White Sox played in Minnesota a little over a week ago. So the Twins hope to win the finale of this series and this 6-game road trip. Beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball in Chicago. Danny Santana leading off for the Twins, having taken ball one. Now a swinging strike, 1-1. Santana, Suzuki, and Mauer to hit for the Twins in the first inning against Hector Noesi.
Yeah, Noesi making his fourth start, his first here in Chicago against the Twins. And this young man getting better and better as the season goes on. In the second half, since the All-Star break, 10 starts, 5-2 with a 3.93 ERA. Trying to make that good appearance and addition for next year.
And Santana strikes out on 4 pitches. 1 down. That'll bring up Suzuki. Take a look at the Twins lineup for the series finale. Some different names in the lineup. Santana leading off. Suzuki batting second. Joe Mauer at first. Trevor Plouffe hitting cleanup. Kenny Vargas gets the starting assignment off. Oswaldo Arcia, Josmil Pinto, Cruz Herman, Eduardo Escobar, and Jordan Schaefer. Suzuki, the catcher, off the bench, delivered a big RBI double. Not as big as we thought it would be. Gave the Twins a lead in the 9th inning. And he takes ball 1 from Noesi.
Noesi's record right there, making his 25th start, his 31st game.
Pitch up high, 2-0.
He joined the White Sox back in early April, actually late April, April 25th, claimed off waivers from the Texas Rangers, started the season in the Mariner organization, went to the Rangers, and now in Cleveland. In Chicago, where he's getting some starts.
Yeah, he was brought over to help fill out the bullpen. They had some bullpen issues here in Chicago, and so they picked up Noesi and then decided to move him into the rotation. 2-1 to Suzuki. Poke foul, 2-2. It's been an odd road trip and obviously not a successful one. The Twins won the opener in Cleveland, one of their better games of the year. It was just a well-played game. Twins won a 1-run ball game. Then the rain out in Cleveland, the doubleheader Thursday, the Twins lost both games. First game here was rained out. Another doubleheader yesterday, and the Twins have lost 4 games in 2 days. Toward the hole, cut off by Gillespie. 2 down. And that'll bring up Joe Mauer. Northland Ford defense for the White Sox. Hitting hero last night, Viciedo is in left field. Adam Eaton in center. Avisail Garcia in right. Gillespie, Ramirez, Sanchez, Abreu, the infielders, and Adrian Nieto, the Rule 5 catcher, getting the start behind the plate. 2 gone, and here's Mauer.
Mauer having a tough road trip. 2 hits in 14 at-bats so far. 1 for 7 in both games yesterday.
Strike 1. Struck out 3 times in the doubleheader yesterday. On the ground, right at second baseman Carlos Sanchez. Quick 1-2-3 inning for Noesi. Here at U.S. Cellular Field. Twins started the road trip with a win. They're hoping to end it with a win. Robert Ventura has his team in 4th place, so probably where they're going to finish. It would take a major collapse by the Sox to be caught by the Twins at this point, especially after winning both games yesterday. The Menards batting order for the White Sox: Adam Eaton, Alexei Ramirez, Jose Abreu, Connor Gillespie, Avisail Garcia, Andy Wilkins, Dayan Viciedo. Last night's home run is 4th of the game against the Twins. Then Carlos Sanchez and Adrian Nieto.
And Trevor May on the mound, making his 7th major league start, his 2nd start against the White Sox. His first major league win coming a couple starts ago on September 3rd in Minnesota against the White Sox. Twins won that game 11-4. So May hoping to improve every time out. He's currently on a 2-game winning streak, won his last 2 ball games. He won that game in Cleveland. The only win so far on this road trip.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. He's got a chance if he continues to pitch a little bit better every time out. He has a chance to have numbers very similar to the numbers put together by Kyle Gibson in his 10-start trial last year. 2 strikes to Eaton and a tapper foul. Last year, Gibson just won 2 games, lost 4, had an ERA 5.63, 51 innings and 10 starts. Gibson, or May rather, in September has pitched 2 ball games, 5 innings each, 2 wins, an ERA of 4.5. Down low, 1-2. And I think the next challenge for him, hopefully, is to today pitch a quality start, which would be 1 inning more than he has in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, he's been the beneficiary of pitching 5 innings both starts. In his last one against the Cleveland Indians, the one against the White Sox, 5 innings. The bullpen picked them up and did a good job. Just a pitch count. I mean, if you can control that a little bit. His last outing in Cleveland, 102 pitches in 5 innings. So try to get some quick outs here.
1-2. And another foul.
And guys like Eaton do not help. Adam Eaton in his first season with the White Sox came over from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Got off to a slow start, having a very good second half for the Sox.
Foul, and this has all the makings of the Abreu at bat against Perkins last night. 1-2. Eaton, Ramirez, and Abreu will hit against May eventually. And finally, Eaton strikes out. Take a look at the Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Herman, Schaefer, Arcia across the outfield. Santana moves into short. Escobar giving Brian Dozier the day off. Corner infielders Plouffe and Mauer with Suzuki behind the plate. In his last 4 starts, May has pitched a total of 20 innings, averaging 5 innings per start. First pitch, strike 2, Ramirez. Breaking ball, tap foul. So far, so good in terms of strike throwing. That's been one of the issues for Trevor May. 10 pitches and just 1 pitch out of the strike zone. In his 2 September wins, 180 pitches thrown, 114 strikes, a little less than 2 for 1. Here's a nubber, and it's hit to Escobar, who throws out Ramirez, 2 down.
Yeah, the average inning that a pitcher would like to go out there and throw between 13 and 17 pitches per inning. You want to stay away from that 25 to 30 pitch inning, and May has done that a couple times in his starts. So hopefully some quick outs. 11 pitches so far, 2 outs.
In the pregame, you heard Trevor May saying wants to be aggressive, but central to that is throwing the ball over the plate, and he needs to do a better job of that. He's so far doing a great job of it.
Yeah, very good breaking ball right there to get strike 1 on Abreu. having a awesome year, hitting .321. Drove in his 100th run yesterday by hitting a home run, a solo home run. Drove himself in. 34 home runs on the year.
1-1. Right center field. And Arcia makes the catch short of the track. A quick 1-2-3 for Trevor May in the first inning with a lot of strikes thrown. Well, it was a bad day for the Twins yesterday, losing both games of the doubleheader, but individually a good day for Trevor Plouffe.
Yeah, he had some really good at-bats, ended up hitting a home run that gave the Twins a lead in Game 2, his 13th of the year. Very good defensive plays at third base. Nice barehanded play on that bunt by Garcia. So Plouffe trying to finish the season strong, leading the club with 75 runs batted in.
1-0 from Noesi to Plouffe. Arcia and Pinto will follow. And strike call.
We heard that a lot yesterday. A lot of strikeouts. Total of 45 strikeouts in the 2 games. Twins struck out 26 times. The White Sox struck out 19 times in the 2 games.
In the first game, it was very difficult to pick up the baseball. Strike 2. And shadows that extended out beyond the mound. I asked Kurt Suzuki and Brian Dozier today about that, when it really got tough. Dozier said, you know, when the ball leaves the pitcher's hand and you're trying to pick up the spin and there's a lighting difference, well, then it's really tough. And I took that to mean when the shadows extended about 2/3 of the way out to the mound. That's when it really became difficult. Looking into an illuminated batter's eye. That one is hit a long way, and Trevor Plouffe has another one. Way back into left field, and the Twins take the first lead.
Well, I tell you what, that had some good sound on it right there. Trevor Plouffe, home run number 14 on the year. That equals last year's home run total. 24 in his first full season. For the Twins. Ball rode right back into that swing of Trevor. A high fly home run for Plouffe, and the Twins take a 1-0 lead.
Here is Arcia. Pitches up. You know, in 2 weeks we're going to wrap up the season.
And by fast.
And I'm going to miss that sound. I'll hear it on TV, but I'm really going to miss that sound. Here's a high Soft line drive over the reach of the shortstop Ramirez, and Arcia has another base hit. We'll bring up Pinto.
Let's take a look at the Mall of America scouting report on Hector Noesi. Fastball, tight slurve, and a changeup, and he's basically auditioning for next season's rotation. And again, he's pitched very well since the All-Star break. 10 starts, 5-2, but really all the starters have pitched well as of late. Over the last 9 ball games, the White Sox starters combined earned run average at 2.35. 9 of the 8 last starts have been quality starts.
Pinto gets a pitch up and fouls it back.
Yeah, you go back to game 1 yesterday. I mean, Jose Quintana, career high 13 strikeouts. Phil Hughes, a career high 11 strikeouts. So both starters getting career highs in that tough sun and the shade.
Swing and a miss 0-2. Pinto, the designated hitter today.
Pinto started the first season with the Twins at the major league level, then got sent out in the middle of June down in Rochester, went down, hit well, hit .279 in 60 ball games. And he, like about a dozen guys, a September call-up.
That rolls away from Nieto, and Arcia will jog to second base. Wild pitch, I think, will be charged to Noesi.
Noesi with his 8th wild pitch of the year. Looked like a breaking ball that got underneath the glove of Nieto. And a slider.
Be a wild pitch, but the catcher's got to block that
right,
one. Right,
exactly. They give a wild pitch only because it hit the dirt first, but that's where your catcher has to utilize his chest protector and get in front of that ball. It went underneath his glove.
2-2 to Pinto with a runner at second. See if we can put the ball in play and at least advance the runner here. 3-2. Chris Herman on deck. The glove of the pitcher Noesi, and he throws Pinto out. I'm sure Pinto can hit the ball any harder, but he hit it right to the glove of the pitcher.
And there's nothing that Arcia could do. He had to head back to second base because it looked like Noesi was going to catch this ball. Kind of stuck his glove down and the ball fell out, but see Arcia staying at second base, and the out is recorded at first.
Sanchez coming in to check with his pitcher to make sure that the finest athlete on the team is okay after that. Bring up Chris Herman. Herman getting a start in left field. Off the plate outside, ball 1.
Now 4 different stints with the Twins this year for Chris Herman.
Miss.
He hit very well down in Rochester, hit over 300, 304 in 60 ball games. But he has struggled at the major league level, hitting just 180 in 82 games at this level.
1. To center. That's down for a hit. Arcia will check in at third base. Twins with a chance for a bigger inning here. The last thing they wanted was to run themselves out of an inning like happened in the 9th inning last night.
Well, Herman, good hitting right there. Got a fastball up, lined it up the middle for a base hit. His 9th hit in 49 at-bats. Pitch kind of tailing away, and Chris hitting this ball sharply into center field.
We'll bring up Escobar, the starting second baseman in this game.
Yeah, Brian Dozier getting a rare day off.
Check swing, called strike.
In the middle of the infield for the White Sox, playing back, looking for the double play ball.
Escobar's had a tough go with the average dipping down to 271. Swing and a foul. 255 from the left side of the plate, with 300 from the right side. But he's done a nice job keeping that average
right there
in the 270 range.
Yep.
And when he gets down to 271, 270, and then he'll get a couple hits.
Yeah, he's struck, and when he strikes out, he seems to chase that high fastball.
As he has 2 strikes on him. He lays off.
Not quite that high.
1 and 2.
Of course, the White Sox know Escobar. He was here for a couple seasons. Signed by the White Sox back in 2006 out of Venezuela.
And he takes outside 2 and 2.
Eduardo Escobar hitting 255 as a left-handed hitter. 308 from the right side of the plate. Most of his at-bats have come from this side of the plate.
A foul to the screen. Already with 1 run on the board. Plouffe leadoff home run in the second. Now first and third, 1 out. 2 and 2 to the batter. At stake today, the season series. It's tied at 9 apiece now. Foul back. Escobar has done a great job at short, but the more versatile player he becomes, playing some at second base, might see him at third base before the season's out. I think that's the role the Twins envision him playing next year.
Yeah, he can play really anywhere on the field. We've seen him in the outfield. He'd probably strap on the gear if need be behind the plate.
He is the emergency catcher. A lot of people are under the misperception that if it came down to it, the Twins would put the gear on Joe Mauer, but Joe's done catching permanently. So if a need arose, it would be Escobar. And if a need arose in September with all these catchers on the roster, then we got
big problems.
We got big problem. 3 and 2 to Escobar. Runner at first goes, and the pitch sent high to center. And he chased back near the warning track. Good at bat for Escobar as he drives in Arcia with a deep fly ball.
He drives in his 29th run of the year as Arcia scores his second run of the ballgame.
Fell behind in the count 0-2 and still managed to have a good at bat. 9 games left at Target Field starting tomorrow, and you can finish it in style in a suite. They're available for single game rental for groups of 16 to 96. You can choose from the Premier Suites, the flexible event suites, or the very spacious Skyline Suites. Find out more by visiting twinsbaseball.com or calling 800-33-TWINS. Now, I've read this promo a number of times, but I don't know what it means for a event suite to be flexible. That's why I asked you last night whether you'd spend time in a suite
ball foul.
I've never spent time in a flexible
in a flexible suite.
No.
Now, does it mean we're like one of those temporary walls where you can expand it?
Could be. That would be flexible.
That would be flexible. On one hand, it'll hold 16 people, and then if you open up enough of those, you can get 96.
That's a heck of a suite.
That's a flexible suite right there. One strike to Schaefer. And now a ball.
Schaefer's got to be happy at what happened when he got cleaned off waivers by the Twins as the season winds down here. He finally gets a chance to play at this level. And he's really helped the Twins kind of do okay. I mean, he's hitting .300. He's stolen some bases. He's driven in 10 runs. He's played good in the outfield.
He's done particularly well against right-handed pitchers for the Twins. Against righties, he's hitting .329. We've seen it happen last night. As soon as a left-hander comes in, Schaefer might get pinch hit for with the expanded roster. 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. That ends the inning. But a good inning for the Twins. The first two men get on base with hits. They both come around to score. You're watching the Twins and White Sox. Brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200. Gorgeous September afternoon from Chicago. Twins jumping out in front 2-0. One of the things that we've done all year long is inviting you to tweet your photo using hashtag NorthFanPhoto. A chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
Had some great photos throughout the summer.
Trevor May with a really good first inning.
First pitch strikes, he went right after him. 3 for 3. And there's 4 for 4. 14 pitches, 12 for strikes for May in that first inning. That's aggressive.
High fly to right. Arcia over a few steps. One down, and let's find Jamie Hirsch.
Thank you, guys. Well, Chris Herman is out in left field today. He's played some there at AAA Rochester this season, but his primary position is catcher. The thing is, though, he may not catch at all the rest of the season because there are 3 other catchers up here who are in front of him. Gardy told me today the plan is to give Kurt Suzuki his reps and get Josemiel Pinto in there a few times, too. But Chris Herman understands that, and he also knows that versatility is a really big part of why he's here in the first place. But he says, if I'm in the starting lineup, I really don't care where I'm playing. And, hey, he gets rewarded for a base hit in the last inning.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. You get credit for Major League time. And again, 4 different stints this year for Chris Herman. And, you know, we've seen him play in right field and, you know, now in left here. But, yeah, your versatility is very important for a guy like him.
You think of
someone like Chris Herman and what the Twins roster will look like next year. Fouled back. The manager, of course, any manager would like to have at least 4 bench players, but for most of this year it's been 3. So you'd think, well, Chris's chances would be better to make the team next year if there were 4 bench players just because of the numbers, but in a sense, it's just the opposite. If you have 3 bench players with Garcia striking out quickly.
Yeah, good curveball there by May.
If you have just 3 bench players, what you really need is flexibility, and Herman offers some of the more attractive flexibility that the Twins have. He can play in the outfield. And
probably play some infield also.
2 down, 5 up, 5 down, and here's Andy Wilkins. Wilkins drove in his first run with his first hit yesterday.
Yeah, Wilkins basically a September call-up, a young man that hit a lot of power in AAA, and they're trying to get him some at-bats here. Take a look at him. Just 3 hits and 27 at-bats, 13 times he has struck out.
The White Sox schedule's similar to the Twins in that just about every series they have in the last 2 weeks will impact the division or wild card races. 1-1, 2-1. Twins come home and they've got the Tigers and the Indians and then the Diamondbacks, and then they finish in Detroit. For the White Sox, they go to Kansas City after the game today. They've got a series with the Rays, and then they go to Detroit and finish here with the Royals. Sliced foul. The point being, this series, and for the White Sox, the Tampa Bay series, an opportunity for Wilkins to get out there and get some at-bats, because Robin Ventura, like Ron Gardenhire, wants to put his best, more established players out there in the more important series.
Yeah, Wilkins down in AAA hit 30 home runs. He drove in 85 runs in 127 games. He'd been in the White Sox system for 5 minor league seasons, almost 100 minor league home runs. But those are minor league numbers. How can he do up here? So far, really not so good. Just 3 hits. He did pick up his first RBI, Major League RBI, in yesterday's ball game.
A lot of strikeouts for Wilkins. And May trying to put him away here in the second inning.
Yeah, just 25 years old, signed by the White Sox out of the University of Arkansas back in 2010. Called up on that date, August 31st. Got into a ball game.
Wilkins strikes out. May has a couple of strikeouts, 3 in the game, and a pair of 1, 2, 3 innings. Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today.
And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Danny Santana leads off the third for the Twins, up 2-0 over Hector Noese. Santana did a lot of swinging and missing in the first inning. He struck out in the first inning. He goes after the first pitch and misses here in the third.
Yeah, again, we're going to say that Santana and Vargas, remember, they've been in the minor leagues and their season's over already. So all these at-bats, extra at-bats for these young men.
Santana 347 at-bats and 79 strikeouts. So it's a little bit more than one strikeout every 5 at-bats. It's when he puts the ball in play that things get fun. And he fouls it to the screen.
He played 24 games in Rochester before getting called up on May 2nd. Spent some time on a disabled list back in late June, early July with the left bone bruise in his knee.
Over the mound. Ramirez glides to his left, throws low, safe at first. Santana flying down the line, beats it out. We'll see whether the White Sox challenge it.
See, and that's what he brings when he can make contact. His speed getting from home to first. And Ramirez makes a great play.
And no move yet from Robin Ventura. Here he comes.
Robin was kind of waiting, I think, from his crew on to take a look or not.
Larry Vanover, the crew chief, will meet Ventura between the mound and first base.
Yeah, ball hits the ground first, and does it get into the glove of Abreu by the time Santana puts that left foot on the bag?
They'll take a look at it. Again, there needs to be clear and convincing overruling evidence visually.
That's how quick he gets down that line.
Out.
And that's what baseball's trying to do. Just make sure they get the right call. I think 90% of what we've seen this first year, Dick, I've liked. I just still don't quite understand the blocking of home plate and all that stuff.
Well, but they've changed that now to a more reasonable interpretation.
As long as a catcher has the ball, then, you know, he could go into the plate area.
And for that matter, the runner can collide with the catcher.
Right.
Once,
as long as he's in the plate, you know, around the home plate, you can't drop your shoulder and go after him out of the, say, the area of where that line is toward home plate.
Long look, and it might be complicated with the fact that a lot of stuff going on and a lot of games being played simultaneously here on this Sunday afternoon. The original ruling was safe. We'll see whether it stands. You know, it's good the way it worked out. I mean, they put this system in place and tried it in spring training so everybody could start to get used to it. But now all during the regular season, they have worked out some kinks and they've worked out some things. So now as we step into the postseason, it should be a pretty smooth process for these playoff games.
Yeah, we've seen them to where they've taken 30 seconds to make the right call. Have we seen up to 4 minutes waiting to make the right call?
The umpires here at the ballpark looking at the replay up on the scoreboard.
I think as we look at that, we know that Ramirez at short has such a strong arm, and for Santana to make this a bang-bang play just shows his quickness out of that batter's box.
Safe at first, so Santana gets an infield hit, and the White Sox are done with their challenge. Suzuki will bat. Santana aboard where he is a base stealing threat. He's 15 for 19 in that department.
And 6 stolen bases against Noesi in 8 attempts.
Now Suzuki with a bouncer to third his first time up. I guess talking about Santana, for a leadoff guy, a lot of strikeouts, but you see the importance of him putting the ball in play. Didn't hit that ball particularly hard, put it in a good spot, beat it out for a hit. One and 0.
Yeah, what he does too with that speed on the base paths makes that pitcher think about him. You know, a couple throw overs makes you think about, oh, I have to be a little quicker toward home plate. You might make a bad pitch, and all of a sudden there's runners at first and third. There he goes.
And a ball beaten foul. He's got a very interesting running style. Now, in beating that infield hit out, he stopped about 15 feet from the base. As fast as he was going down the line, you'd expect him to finish his run somewhere out in the grass before he slowed down and stopped. But he stopped 15 feet past the bag. His legs must be incredibly strong to be able to accelerate like that and decelerate. Down and away.
It's really fun to watch guys. I know Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, they were the best at stealing bases, but how quick, I mean, within a stride or two, they're at full speed. That's what's amazing. You know, a normal base runner would take 3 or 4 strides before he maybe at the quickest he can run. But little base stealers like Santana, once they take off, wow.
I guess, you know, you look at
explosiveness that they have.
You know, he's a small guy, but he's got to have an awful lot of strength. We've talked about his hitting approach. It's pretty much all upper body because there's no stride. And his running style is all lower half. I mean, he doesn't pump his arms crazy or anything like that. He looks like he's in neutral, but he's flying all the time. 2-2. See if he takes off here.
He's got a pretty good lead there.
There he goes. And the pitch grounded to first. Abreu thought about it, but he'll go to first.
Maybe stayed out of a double play by taking off right there. Because Abreu thought about going to first or to second base, but Santana almost there. So he does get into scoring position with 1 out. Taking off right there. Abreu looked and then got the out at first base.
Chance for Mauer to drive in a run here with Santana at second and 1 away.
If you don't pay attention to him at second base, he could try to steal third. It's up to Ramirez, the shortstop, to try to keep him close.
11 hits for Mauer on the season.
That's where that little bit of speed, Dick, can, you know, kind of be a pest to a pitcher.
Taking low, ball 1. Fly to center. Santana will tag and advance to third base. Students, you can take advantage of Rasmussen College's student nights. Standing room only tickets, just $5 for students on Wednesday, September 17th and the 24th. Student tickets available day of game only at the Target Field box office. Limit 1 ticket per student with a valid student ID from any school in Twins territory. You see that play, and Santana made the right play, and Aaron Hicks last night made the wrong play. Similar situation. Runner at second and 1 out. Here's Plouffe. Ball 1. The difference is Eaton was camped under this fly ball, and it was deep enough to advance the runner to second. What Aaron Hicks did was try to do the same thing on a ball that was still being pursued, not by one, but by two outfielders, and no one knew what was going to happen. And that really was a critical point in the game last night in the ninth inning.
I think, and I was never in that situation. You only hear what the experts say, but if Hicks had gone back and did what Santana did, that ball was kind of fumbled a little bit once it fell. There's probably no reason why he could not score if he had tagged up right away and took off once he saw that ball not being caught.
But he was running in reverse after the ball hit the ground to get back to second base. Plouffe will take a walk, and that'll bring Arce to the plate.
Luizzi, I don't think, wanted any part of Plouffe after Plouffe hit the home run in his last at bat. So first walk.
Don Cooper to the mound. Bottom line is, in that ball last night, if the ball hits the ground, Hicks has to score. They sacrificed him to second to put him in scoring position for a single, and they ended up getting what would have been a triple, and he still didn't score.
And it was bad base running by Parmalee, too,
Sure.
with his head down and not picking up Scotty Alger, the third base coach, to see that Hicks had stopped at third. So it was just a bad play. It was a learning play for both these young men, Hicks and Parmalee. And you never quit learning in this game. Here's what happened right here. Parmalee taking this ball. Watch Hicks right there. He doesn't know whether to go back. And right there, I think if he had tagged up and been ready, and he's held up right there.
And then gets
and there, here comes Parmalee.
Twins ended up getting a double from Kurt Suzuki to take the lead. They had their closer on the mound. It looked like they were going to overcome the base running mistake, but who knows how many runs they would have scored if not for the blunder on the bases. Here's Arce. Surprised Arce was even in the starting lineup. In his last couple of at-bats last night, he seemed to have a thumb issue of some sort, but he's in the lineup. In fact, he singled and scored a run in the second inning. Out in front of the off-speed pitch. 1-1.
Yeah, we got a shot of him on the bench after his last at-bat, talking to Vargas about the thumb.
1-1 to Arce.
Base hit to right center in his first at bat. See if he can do it again.
Side 2-1. He's got a couple left, one on in the second. Runners at first and third, and two down in the third. Grounded to the right side into that shift again. Second baseman Sanchez playing at the pull makes the play, and the Twins leave two aboard in the third.
For our McDonald's big moments, what moment has been your favorite in the past week? The 2 doubleheaders in 3 days. I know that's not mine. Hughes striking out 11 yesterday, a career high. First time a Twins pitcher had done that in more than 2 years. Or Trevor Plouffe picking up even more runs and batted in, 23 more than his previous career high. You can log on to Fox Sports North's Facebook page and vote or tweet your pick with hashtag Big Moments on Twitter. Here's Diane Viciedo. Carlos Sanchez and Adrian Nieto will follow. 6 up, 6 down for Trevor May.
Yeah, Viciedo, the hitting hero for the White Sox in the bottom of the 9th inning with that 2-run home run off of Glenn Perkins.
Strike 1.
It almost looked like he was sitting on that fastball because he took a couple breaking balls down and in. I kind of like just looked at him, and then Perk threw him that fastball, and boy, he clobbered it.
Viciedo this year putting up a little bit extended numbers and at bats and all that, kind of putting up Oswaldo Arcia type numbers. And he strikes me as being, not that we know for sure what type of player Arcia is going to become, but right now I think they're similar players. A lot of power, a lot of strikeouts. Maybe not the best out in the field, but both developing players, both in their early to mid 20s.
Laid off that curveball right there.
2-2.
Yeah, Viciedo from Cuba. Actually, there are 4 Cuban players in the Chicago White Sox lineup here this afternoon. Viciedo only 25 years old, and May picking up his 4th strikeout.
116th time that Viciedo has struck out at just under 500 at bats. Of course, Arcia left-handed, Viciedo right-handed. Here's Carlos Sanchez.
Well, May attacking the strike zone. Good fastball, threw it right past the swinging Viciedo.
Sanchez takes a strike.
8 batters, 7 first pitch strikes for Trevor May.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
May, good size, 6'5", about 215. Of course, came over from the Phillies in the Ben Revere trade back in December of 2012.
In his first 3 appearances, one of them was a relief appearance. His first 3 appearances covering a total of 9 innings, he had 3 strikeouts. But now we've seen some swings and misses.
He's getting that breaking ball over and attacking with that good fastball. And there's another good fastball and strikeout number 5.
4 batters in a row have gone down swinging. I know there are fans out there who are looking for strikeouts rather than the pitch to contact variety of pitcher that the Twins have had most of the last 10 years. And this guy now picking up some strikeouts.
He's kind of doing what Liriano and Santana did.
Here is Nieto. Ron Gardenhire was asked today about May and could he have a better mentor to learn from than yesterday's starter Phil Hughes. Now Hughes can throw a little bit harder than May, but in terms of attacking, being aggressive, throwing strikes, and Ron Gardenhire said no, he's the perfect guy for Trevor May. And they envision May being that type of pitcher, you know, with a high strike percentage such as what he's shown here today.
You got to give him some leeway too, as far as, you know, getting his feet wet at this level, trying to feel comfortable in the clubhouse. Do I belong here? Well, you know, his first couple starts, they weren't real well because in his major league debut against Oakland, only 2 innings, he walked 7. You could almost tell he was very nervous. Well, he's settled down nicely.
2-1.
And that comes with innings pitched here and trusting your defense.
Weak ground ball put in play and a perfect first trip through the White Sox batting order and a 2-0 lead for Trevor May. 0-0 lead. Take a look at the road ahead, and there aren't many road games left, just the 4 at the end of the season. The Chrysler road ahead showing you what's left in the 2014 schedule.
Again, the Twins can maybe have something to say on who wins the division by playing the Tigers 7 more times. Cleveland trying to still hang in there, but Detroit, they've lost the last 2 ball games in Detroit.
Osmil Pinto lifting the first pitch to right field. Retreating is Garcia. Pinto gone on 1 pitch. Bring up Chris Herman.
Noese needs that. That was his 60th pitch of the ball game. 11 pitches in the first, 29 in the second, then 19. Remember I said you want to be between 13 and maybe 18 pitches in that range.
Herman singled, advancing Arcia to third base, and then Arcia came in on a fly ball in the Escobar at bat. Strike 1. We were talking yesterday, I forget, game 1, game 2, what does it matter? Kind of all blurred together, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I thought game 1 went well.
Yeah.
I liked all the strikeouts and pretty
of
quick
course you
game.
did.
And then game 2 kind of drug on a little bit.
2 strikes to Herman.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Your thoughts, young man.
Well, we talked about the polarity of these 2 rotations, and like the Twins are hoping for somebody from the left side to step up and be a reliable starter next year. The White Sox are looking for some right-handers to do that. Like Noese, Scott Carroll didn't particularly have a good outing yesterday. Herman swings and misses, and 2 away now in the 4th.
And Noese picking up his 3rd strikeout. Well, again, since the second half, and that's, important to him. Now, he did start a couple years ago for Seattle, and it didn't work out very good. In Seattle, he was 2-12 for the Seattle Mariners, and then last year kind of in and out of the bullpen.
Escobar drove in the second Twins run with a deep fly to center. Busted bat, died a hero. And a 2-out single will get Schaefer to the plate.
Ouch.
Flicking that left hand, trying to get the sting out of it.
You're around the players a lot throughout the summer. I like this kid, Escobar. He's good for the clubhouse. He just comes to the ballpark ready to play every day. Just jumping on that first pitch, sinker down and away. And once he got the first base, it's like, whoa. Ouch. Oliver saying, you're okay, son.
Here's Schaefer. A blast to right field. Garcia going back. That ball is gone. A home run. Jordan Schaefer with a 2-run home run, and the Twins have doubled their lead.
Schaefer's first home run for the Twins. And in his career, that's home run number 12. He had 11 with the Atlanta Braves. Jumping on that first fastball, down, uppercut swing, and hits it into the right field bleachers for a 2-run home run.
And that'll take us to Danny Santana. Twins getting a 2-out single, 2-out home run from their 8 and 9 batters. Santana single, got as far as third base, his first time up. Let's chop to the left side. Gillespie in time to get Santana by a step. Stay tuned for this important message from Mesh, Besher, and Spence. Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by the all-new Chrysler 200 with available all-wheel drive, America's import. With Jamie Hirsch, Bert Blyleven, Dick Bramer here in Chicago. Glad that you've chosen to spend part of your Sunday with Twins baseball. The Twins started the road trip with a win. Hope to finish it with a win. So far, so good. The pitcher's been really good, and the lineup's produced 4 early runs. A couple of home runs for the Twins.
Schaefer hitting his first home run as a Twin, and the first home run this year with the Braves when he was up and down. Did not have a home run this year, so Trevor Plouffe with a home run, his 14th of the year, coming in the second inning.
Adam Eaton, Alexei Ramirez, and Jose Abreu to face Trevor May.
Yeah, 9 up, 9 down, 5 strikeouts. May 39 pitches in the first 3 innings.
Talked about this before in May's last couple of starts. We've seen snapshots of this. The ball hit on the ground. Great stop. Plouffe from his knees fires across. And Eaton stumbles as he crosses the bag safely. Good play by Trevor Plouffe going to his right. And Eaton lost his footing as he crossed the bag. That's a fine play by Plouffe.
It really is, and he knew he didn't have time to get up and try to make a good throw from his knees. He knows that Eaton's running, that he's quick, and just tries to get the ball over there, and Mauer stretches, but Eaton too quick out of that box. Like Santana, outstanding speed. And right there, that little extra jump that he went toward the bag. And watch out for the ankle, the Achilles. Looks like he's all right.
Now the challenge for Trevor May. We've talked about the snapshots we've seen, and everything gets fuzzier with men on base. And when May has to pitch from the stretch. Breaking ball over, strike 1.
That little extra step right there. Boy,
ooh.
Wow.
He's very lucky he didn't snap something.
Yeah, left ankle.
Strike 1 to Ramirez. May has found his velocity down a little bit, the sharpness of his pitches, the location, all of it's been compromised a little bit at least when he has gone into the stretch position. That's why he's had some kind of ugly innings. So now a man at first, speedy runner at that. We'll see how he handles this 4th inning.
Well, on the mental side right now, you have a 4-0 lead. You concentrate on getting the out at home plate right here. Don't worry about Eaton that much. Make good quality pitches, and so far 2 for 2 good pitches to Ramirez.
Now that one clocked at 94 miles per hour from the stretch, which might be the hardest fastball he's thrown as a big leaguer. Seen evidence that the gun is hot here or anything like that. 2 strikes to Ramirez. Foul back. 93. Well, let me take back then what I said about Phil Hughes throwing a little harder than May, because 93-94 is right where Hughes tops out at. That's where Hughes was yesterday.
Well, Trevor's had 3 double plays turned behind him. This is his 7th start.
Oh, 2 to Ramirez.
Eaton at first base, 14 stolen bases in 22 attempts.
Foul.
Curveball left middle end. Heading to count here. You don't want to make a mistake. If you won't throw that curveball, you want it down and away. Trust your catcher. Suzuki will block it if it's in the dirt.
Half swing, no swings with Larry Van Over. That's 1-2.
Very aggressive swinger is Ramirez, and able to keep the barrel of the bat out of that strike zone. Right on top of the plate. Ramirez will chase that breaking ball down and away. He's right on top of the plate, almost dares you to go in because he's very quick inside.
Eaton starts and stops, and now the ball hammered to left. Falling down in the corner is Herman. Eaton will go to third, and behind him, Ramirez to second. Herman got to the ball, tried to plant and throw, and lost his footing.
Well, I said you have to throw that breaking ball down and away because Ramirez very quick at the plate. He likes to open up that hip area and bring that bat through. That's where that ball stayed. See where Suzuki wants it. He wants it away. Left middle in, and he hammers it down that left field line. Herman slipping as he tries to get that ball back in the infield.
Single, a double, still nobody out, and Abreu at the plate. Abreu with a fly to right his first time up. Still playing back, of course, with a 4-run lead. Strike one. May knows his game better than anybody, but given his difficulties from the stretch, it's curious that he would go from the stretch here when he has the option of going for the windup.
No, you want to keep Ramirez close to second base. Here in this situation, you have to realize you're going to give up a run or two, but you need to get out of this inning with any further damage.
Ball away.
The ideal situation, and sometimes you're out there and they think, okay, sacrifice fly, 1 run. Normally a guy at third, you're going to score, but keep Ramirez at second base if you can. And it's going to take a base hit to get him in. But May, also a guy, might want to try to punch out the side. 5 strikeouts already.
Squirted to the right side and through a base hit. Eaton scores. Ramirez held at third. Not hit at all well, but in a good spot.
And these are the innings you want to stay away from. Abreu driving in his 101st run. And Ramirez stopping at third base.
How do you hit that pitch where Abreu did? That pitch was in off the plate.
You know, you have to tip your hat to him. You have to tip your hat to Eaton that took a pitch the other way. You don't tip your hat to the pitch you made to Ramirez that you left inside that he smoked for the double.
Now Gillespie comes to the plate representing the tying run. It's a 4-1 ball game. Perfect first 3 innings for May. Then an infield hit, a double when the left fielder slipped in the turf in the corner. A little cue shot into right field for another base hit. He's hoping to get a ground ball double play. They'll give up another run to do that.
He's got a hole in his boat right now. He tries to see if he can patch it.
Inside ball 1. But this is again what we've seen from the stretch.
Well, if he wants to pitch at this level or any level, you're going to be in the stretch.
I know, but I mean it's the difference between night and day. One and 0. Two and 0.
First 3 innings, he got strike 1 on 8 of the 9 batters. Now it seems like he's pitching from behind.
Three and 0. Garcia on deck. Not sure he had a 3-ball count in the first 3 innings.
No, he did not. Now you've put yourself in that fastball situation as a pitcher that you have to be able to throw this fastball down and away, outer half of the plate for a strike, right where Suzuki's set up.
Left it up. Gillespie fouled it back.
Gillespie had the green light on a 3-0 pitch. Gillespie not a power hitter, but a very good average hitter.
Gillespie had 13 home runs last year, 7 home runs this year. Three and one. Base hit left field. It's a 4-2 game.
And you put yourself in that situation because you end up behind on that hitter. And Gillespie, a good hitter that he is, just took that fastball the other way.
All started with an infield hit by Adam Eaton, and 3 other outfield hits have followed.
We'll take a look at the pitch right here. Not a bad pitch. I mean, credit Gillespie by just going down. But what makes this a good at-bat for Gillespie? The count was 3-1, and that's the type of hitter he is, up the middle the other way. And Gillespie picks up his 53rd RBI.
Trying to pitch his way out of this emerging mess here. 4 straight hits, a couple of runs on the board, still nobody out. Garcia struck out swinging. In fact, Garcia was the first of 4 straight strikeout victims for Trevor May.
He struck him out on a good curveball, but he got ahead in the count.
Strike one, called on the outside corner. Another one on the outside corner, 0-2.
Again, heading the count here. Just if you're going to throw a curveball, make sure it's down and away.
High fastball. Garcia strikeout on every 4 at bats.
He will strike out. Throw him that good hook. Throw him a fastball down and away on the black. Strikeout number 6.
Painted the down and away corner 3 times.
Pitcher's pitch right here. That's what you want to master.
Now a chance. Another strikeout prone batter at the plate. You either strike him out and get out of the inning, or you get a ground ball double play and you get out of this with a 2-run lead. He hits the down and away corner to a left-handed batter.
I don't know what Rick Anderson told him, but now he's just rearing back and letting it fly at 93-94.
Foul to the screen. You had it throughout your career, but the ability to strike people out in situations like this. You've got a guy who's trying to make adjustments up here at the big league level in Wilkins, and he's having a terrible time making contact. And now May's got ahead of him 0-2. He's in position to put him away with a good pitch.
Struck him out his last time up on a good high fastball, threw the fastball right by him.
It's the biggest indictment, I suppose, for the pitch to contact philosophy. Is there are times out there when you've got to have a strikeout.
Mm-hmm. And you have to believe you can get that strikeout.
And he got it. 2 away.
Threw it right by him. Strikeout number 7.
Now you'll take a 350-foot fly ball up the middle of the field, right? You don't need to strike this guy.
Rearing back and just overpowering Wilkins right there with the fastball. And if he's going to hit at 350, do it on the first pitch, so I don't have to throw 5 or 6 more pitches. Already enough pitches in this inning.
Breaking ball, first one he's thrown in a while, and Viciedo is expecting the fastball.
It definitely swung like it was a fastball. This will be pitch number 24 in this inning.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
What we're seeing right here is a little bit of bulldog out of May, and I like that. He just rearing back and just throwing a good fastball, the hard curve. Heading the count now.
Wow.
There's that curveball. Nasty.
You don't like giving up runs, but in its own way, the 4th inning a lot more impressive than the first 3.
That was a learning experience right there for May. Look at the fight on that breaking ball.
Impressive ones with the lead on the line.
I'll tell you what, I said this, whatever Rick Anderson told him, he said, let's go pump it up and throw your best stuff. And boy, did he on those 3 strikeouts right there.
Out of the 5th, Suzuki leading things off, and he takes strike 1. And rather than that inning mushrooming into 4 or 5 runs, I mean, he absolutely put the brakes on an inning that looked like it was going to get spun out of control.
I saw a little bulldog right there. I liked it.
Down and in, 1-1. Suzuki, Mauer, and Plouffe. Twins with a couple of runs in the 2nd against Noesi, 2 more in the 4th.
Let's see if the Twins can get those 2 runs back that the White Sox put up in the bottom of the inning.
2-1. To center, and he catch one, and it'll bring up Mauer.
Hey, Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games you bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner's circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. And happy 21st birthday to you, young lady.
It's a long time ago. I'm trying to think where I spent my 21st birthday. Where'd you spend your 21st birthday? Probably in a big league someplace.
In a big league somewhere, yeah. Would that be 1972?
And a strike to Mauer. 0 for 2. Mauer with a bouncer to second and a fly ball to center. One and one. Games left for the Twins after today's game. 9 at home, 4 on the road. All of them on television, by the way. There's Mauer driving a sharp single past the reach of Noese. And it'll bring up Plouffe.
Yeah, 7th hit for the Twins. Noese left that ball out over the plate. Joe took it right back up the middle.
Plouffe with a home run and a walk. Who would, and there is such an award, who would be your top pick for most improved Twin? And I'm bringing it up during the Plouffe at bat because I'm not so sure he wouldn't get my vote.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking of someone that's been here the whole season.
Yeah, I don't know that Suzuki can count because he wasn't a Twin last year. But Trevor has become a more well-rounded player defensively. He still doesn't have great range to his left, but we've seen him in the second half make some really good plays going to his right. Nearly made a great play on Eaton.
Yeah, you know what? You want to put in that extra time, too, to make yourself better. And I think we all have seen, I know I have, personally, about Plouffe runs into a double play here, but coming out early, taking extra ground balls. And that at bat didn't work out for him, but he's had a very solid season.
Half of the game for the Twins are Mountain Dew kickstart fans of the game, hoping that today the Twins can hang on to that lead. They led all the way yesterday. The only lead the White Sox had came at the very end of the game last night in the nightcap, adding to the frustration of the day. Sanchez will lead things off against Trevor May. The challenge for May now get back into a rhythm again and
keep that dog, that mad dog type of attitude out on that mound. And there it is, strike one. taking a book out of Phil Hughes right now. 14 first pitch strikes of the 16 batters he's faced.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
Good changeup right there. 8 strikeouts for May. He had 8 strikeouts against the Orioles in Baltimore. That in 4 2/3 innings.
And the dirt 1-2.
And that's where you want that pitch. You know, ahead in the count.
Foul over the Chicago dugout.
Sanchez struck out on a high fastball in the 3rd inning. Just like that. Strikeout number 9.
Here we go again now. That's 4 straight strikeouts again for Trevor May. Second 4 strikeout string he's put together today. Won't have to pitch to Paul Konerko. They'll have a day for him on September 27th. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts showing you where Konerko rests right now against the Twins. Home runs 4th with 40. 136 RBIs. Oddly, Konerko broke a bone in his left hand. A seemingly benign play tagging out Danny Santana at target field. 1 strike to Nieto, and now a ball. Now Konerko's starting to swing off the tee. And to no one's surprise, he's vowed to get back in the lineup.
Yeah, those numbers a little bit down. Konerko's hit 50 home runs against the Twins. I believe on that graphic or that chart it said 40.
I almost said too. It sure seems like there were more than 40.
Yeah.
1-2. Hit to right. And Arcia back. Gone. Home run for Nieto. He's second in the big leagues, and it's a 4-3 game.
Yeah, he got a high fastball and hooked it just over the fence in right field. Nieto in his rookie season, 24 years old, switch hitter. Hitting his 2nd home run, both of them as a left-handed hitter. Kind of a line drive home run. Hoping it would hit the top of the fence, maybe come back, but just over the fence.
It hit the top of the fence and went over. Here's Eaton, an infield hit in the first run of the game for Chicago, and he takes low, ball 1. Doesn't make any difference whether it's September or July or April. If you hit the ball hard here to either foul pole toward right field or left field, it's a bit of a poke to left center. But my goodness, the ball carries in this ballpark. Just hit it hard up in the air, and you got a pretty good chance of hitting one out. 2-0 now to Eaton. Twins lead back to 1. Hard on the ground. Gobbled up by Santana. 2 down. Soup.com trivia question. The tip of the cap to Konerko. All time, which players played the most career games against the Minnesota Twins?
Wow. Well, you'd think it'd be somebody in the Central Division.
Or somebody who played in the 60s and 70s. I'm
Right,
wondering,
for a long, long time.
like Yastrzemski or somebody like that. Yastrzemski's career started about the time the Twins.
61.
Yeah, swing and a miss, 1-1. Yastrzemski played through 1983. Ramirez might have done something on that swing, trying to stretch things out a little bit.
He's one of these guys that does not get cheated up there. Always swinging hard, just like Arcia.
And 1-2. They had a 4-0 lead. Now it's 4-3. 79th pitch of the afternoon. By pitching, hopefully through the 5th inning and beyond, he's crystallized the Twins' plans for tomorrow. They were holding out some reservation that if Anthony Swarzak were needed to pitch after May pitch today, pop up weekly on the right side, Mauer calls for it. And that takes care of the White Sox in the 5th. Looks like May's got a good start today, and Swarzak will get the start tomorrow. Chrysler 200 with available all-wheel drive, America's import. Oswaldo Arcia will lead off the 6th. Hector Noesi gave up the game's first 4 runs. Now it's a 1-run ball game. Down and in, ball 1. Arcia, Pinto, and Herman, the Twins' 6th inning. Outside 2-0.
Noesi with 1 walk, that being Trevor Plouffe in the 3rd inning. Arcia getting the green light and leaving his feet.
Three and 1. Now 3-2. The only thing I can figure, Arcia must have had a cramp in his hand last night. That is all better today. If there's anything wrong with your hand, you can't possibly swing as hard as he did the last 2 swings, can you?
I wouldn't think so, but this man's strong.
Full count. A piece. Arcia trying to get aboard. The Twins leading by just a run here in the 6th. Arcia takes a walk.
Good walk there. Got a couple pitches that he could line somewhere. Fouled him up, but took a good 3-2 pitch. And Noesi walks his 2nd batter.
Next weekend, the middle of the next homestand, Fan Appreciation Weekend against the Indians. Fans in attendance can win all kinds of great prizes and gifts on Friday and Saturday.
And then on Sunday, the first 10,000 kids 14 and under will get a Joe Mauer growth chart. Visit twinsbaseball.com or call 833-TWINS for info and tickets. Here's Josmiel Pinto 0 for 2. Inside ball 1. Toward the hole. Nice pickup by Ramirez. 6-4-3. Went to a knee on the backhand side, pivoted, and found Sanchez, who turned the double play.
He's played very, very well at short here this year for the Chicago White Sox. Second double play in the second straight inning, turned by the White Sox infield. Ramirez getting that little short hop. Good feed over to Sanchez, and a quick double play.
That'll bring up Herman. Down and in ball 1. Herman with a single. Advancing Arcia to third base with 1 out. He scored on a fly ball. That the second run of the 2-run second inning. Going to miss 1-1. Herman's manager for most of this season, Gene Glenn, the Waseca native, going to join the Twins coaching staff with the homestand. Teams are allowed to call up a coach to help with the added personnel.
Yeah, Tim Doherty was here for a while. He went down to Fort Myers to be part of the Florida Instructional League down there.
Tim's still here. He's going to fly out after the game, just go in a different direction than the major league team. 2-2 to Herman. Ronald Belisario warmed up, it appears. Herman lifts it down the left field line. A very long run for Viciedo. And he makes a fair ball catch. Sliding on the warning track. First the shortstop, then the left fielder. Fine plays to send the Twins out in the 6th. Sports North is presented by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's. Your McDonald's has 5 extra value meals under $5, including the Big Mac, at participating locations.
Only once this year has Trevor May gotten an out in the 6th inning. It came in a loss at home against the Tigers. He will be asked to hopefully pitch the entire 6th inning and get a quality start. Who knows? Maybe by the end of it all, get his 3rd straight win. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, 81 pitches now, 61 for strikes for Trevor May. Career high 9 strikeouts. He has not walked a batter.
Abreu, Gillespie, and Garcia getting their 3rd looks at May this afternoon. Abreu just kind of squirted the ball out of Escobar's reach into right field.
Not a bad pitch down and in, and he kind of just inside out of that pitch for the RBI.
Gillespie singled to the opposite field. Pulled foul.
This man is strong right here. Abreu, 27 years old, signed by the White Sox over the winter after he defected from Cuba to a 6-year contract, and having one heck of a rookie season.
Now back by Abreu. High fly, deep short. Santana with the catch, and a dangerous man is retired for the first out of the 6th. Let's find Jamie Hirsch.
Thank you, guys. Well, our Sanford Health Injury Report regards Tommy Malone, who was hoping to get back in the rotation yesterday, but when he threw a bullpen last Wednesday, he said he tweaked something in his neck. So then he was going to start tomorrow, but he threw again yesterday. It did not go well. So now, as we mentioned, Anthony Swarzak will start tomorrow instead. Malone told me he has not heard of any plans to shut him down for the season, though, and he is certainly hoping to have another chance or two here to show the Twins what he knows he's capable of, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I mean, when you have that little neck problem, it's not going to heal overnight. So he may be shut down for the rest of the year.
Chance to visit with Tommy yesterday before his bullpen session was aborted because of the neck issue. And he says it's something he's had all year long, but it never really impacted how he pitched. So he wasn't trying to use that as an excuse for how poorly he's pitched with the Twins, but he says he's tried everything. He's even traveling with his own pillow on the road to try to stabilize the neck a little bit. 2 strikes to Gillespie. And foul back.
Well, the arm strength is still there. That fastball at 94 by Trevor May.
Off the plate with an off-speed pitch.
A good hard breaking ball there, just missed.
Suzuki digs it out of the dirt, 2-2. In his last start, he got the win in Cleveland. 5 innings and 102 pitches thrown. Here, 90 pitches thrown, and he's working into the 6th inning. Much higher percentage of strikes. And a 1-run lead. Another strikeout.
And strikeout number 10.
Well, how about that? The Twins went more than 2 years without having a pitcher strike out 10 in a game, and now they've had it in back-to-back days.
Good changeup right there, looked like. And Gillespie, a strikeout victim. You look at May's minor league numbers. 772 in the 3rd innings, 897 strikeouts. So it tells you that he has a capability of striking out batters.
Bouncer wide of third.
He's shown that here this afternoon.
You look at what he's done since he was called up in August, and if you want to explain it away, nothing more complicated than the fact he was wound tighter than a drum in his first few outings. Well, he wouldn't be the first guy to have that happen to him, and then once he relaxed just a little bit, everything kind of fell into place. What a play by May. Reaching back across his body, and for the first time in the big leagues, he's completed 6 innings. And another step forward for Trevor May. He comes off the mound with a 1-run lead. Get his first quality start, and I think he's done that. It looks like he's done for the day.
On 93 pitches, 70 for strikes, 19 of 22 first pitch strikes. So a good afternoon for May if he is done. Some action in the bullpen for the Twins.
Look at the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto and a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. First pitch up and away to Eduardo Escobar. It'll be Escobar, Schaefer, and Santana in the 7th inning. Foul back 1-1. Of all the numbers you gave regarding May, the thing that I think really bodes well, strikeouts to be sure, but the high percentage of strikes, given where he was when he first was called up, and the 7 walks against Oakland, and the tentative approach he seemed to have on the mound for one reason or the other. I mean, he just threw it over the plate and said, here it is, hit it.
That's the aggressiveness that we kind of talked to. Jamie talked to him about being aggressive, and today he was. He had that bulldog type attitude that hopefully he'll carry into his next start.
2-1. Busted bat and a roller to second. Sanchez to first, 1 away. If you didn't know any better, you thought it was Phil Hughes out there today. The most popular way to follow September pennant races is with MLB.com @Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, stats, live radio broadcasts, and the MLB.TV game of the day and more. Get @Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store or visit MLB.com. 1 gone. Here's Schaefer, a 2-run home run in the 4th. Cleveland leading Detroit 3-2 in the 7th inning. Schaefer with a bunt. Nieto throws him out. Nice play by the catcher. 2 down.
Very nice play by Nieto, the catcher, because this bunt right here, not a bad bunt. The catcher has to come out from behind home plate. He's the only one that's going to be able to throw Schaefer out. Nieto bouncing on it, bare-handing it, spinning, showing off that very good arm over to Abreu.
I suppose it's a function of Nieto using the hockey goalie style catcher's mask, but kind of like seeing a catcher with the cap worn backward, not the helmet, but the cap. 1-0. Santana 1 for 3. Infield hit that was challenged and confirmed. 1-1.
Well, Niesi's down by a run right here, but I think he's done a good job of keeping the club in the game. He's had a couple double plays turned behind him. This will be pitch number 100 for him here this afternoon, trying to get the final out here in the 7th inning.
2-1.
We mentioned in the Mall of America scouting report auditioning for maybe a starting role next year for the White Sox. Still fastball at 93.
Or someone else, because he's a free agent after this year and he can be signed by anybody. Twins, the Royals, the Diamondbacks. Cracked down to the right field line and into the corner. Santana sprinting around first and holding up at second.
He left a slider right there, and Santana didn't miss it. Lined it into that right field corner. And a smart move by Stamp, stopping at second base. A base hit by Suzuki. He'll probably score anyway, but I think he's going to have to get a base hit against somebody else as Robin Ventura's coming out of the bullpen or dugout.
So Noesi with a competitive outing here, giving up 4 runs, responsible for Santana at second, but nothing really mushroomed out of control, and he gave the White Sox a chance to win a ball game. He'll leave with 2 outs in the 7th.
Of the game, Trevor Plouffe a home run. That gave the Twins a 1-0 lead in the 2nd inning. They added another run. A sacrifice fly off the bat of Escobar made a 2-0 ball game. Schaefer hitting a home run, a 2-run home run in the 4th. Twins had a 4-0 lead, but White Sox scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th and 1 in the 5th. And Trevor May, quite an afternoon. Career high 10 strikeouts, no walks in 6 innings. He's in line for a win.
Next Chicago pitcher is Ronald Belisario, who's had a couple of really frightful outings against the Twins. Runner at second, 2 down. He'll pitch to Suzuki. Strike over the inside corner.
Yeah, it's a bullpen I'm sure that they will look at too over the winter to try to improve. A very high earned run average out of that bullpen at 4.3 combined out of those relievers. And Belisario in his first season with the White Sox has not had a very good year. 4 wins, 8 losses out of the bullpen in 57 relief appearances.
Driven to the gap in left center field, and the Twins continue to pound Belisario. Suzuki digging for second. He's got an RBI double. Before he threw that pitch, Belisario had pitched 4 1/3 innings against the Twins and given up 11
earned runs, an ERA of nearly 23. Now this run not charged to him, but I don't know that the Twins have hit anybody harder this year than they've hit Belisario.
Well, he has that sinking fastball, and that's what Suzuki got right there. Just dropped the barrel of the bat, and you see where Eaton was shading him a little bit toward right center. The ball into left center. Santana scores the 5th run for the Twins, and Suzuki on his 29th double, driving in his 54th run.
Mauer will be intentionally walked.
Yeah, that run charged to Noesi, so his line 6 2/3 inning, 8 hits, 5 runs, all earned.
Mauer denied his first ever at bat against Belisario, and it'll be Plouffe who will hit. Plouffe with a couple of singles this year against Belisario. Plouffe with another home run today in his first at bat, drew a walk in the 3rd, wrapped into an inning-ending double play in the 5th. Leads back to 2, but still a little meat left on the bone here for the Twins in the 7th inning. Strike at the knees. Jamie has some company. Southpaw. Plouffe to right center field. A liner snagged by Eaton. Another well hit ball, and Belisario gives up a couple of well hit balls and a run in the 7th.
Is presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Farmland, what's cooking around the majors. The Tigers have just come back to take a lead on the Indians in the 7th inning. And Justin Verlander with an okay outing, but a lot of pitches in 5 2/3 innings. Boston overcoming an early Kansas City lead, and now they lead by 3 runs. Wilson Ramos, the former Twin, is the 10th home run of the year for the Nationals.
He's having a good year. Those Nationals looks like they're going to win that Eastern Division. 9.5 game lead over the Atlanta Braves. They've lost a couple games to the Texas Rangers as of late. Trevor May's afternoon is done. Worked the first 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, a career high 10 strikeouts. And And hopefully the 7th inning belongs, all of it belongs to Jared Burton. He worked 1 inning in yesterday's ball game, gave up a couple hits and a run, 26 pitches, 18 for strikes. Well, Trevor May, a very good afternoon. He retired the first 9 White Sox batters. In the first 3 innings, he picked up 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Ran into trouble in the 4th. Gave up 4 straight hits and a couple runs. Rick Anderson made a trip out to the mound. Whatever he said, it worked because he struck out the next 3 batters. Gave up a home run to Nieto in the 5th inning. But a 1-2-3-6, 93 pitches, 70 strikes, 19 of 22 first pitch strikes. Phil Hughes type numbers.
He had 4 1-2-3 innings, but to me the 4th inning is where he graduated a little bit because that inning had disaster written all over it. He gave up 4 hits to start the inning, but collected himself and got out of it with the Twins still holding a lead.
What they say, great job of damage control.
Burton on his first pitch gets a chopper to Escobar, 1 down. And the Twins had a 9th inning failure by Glenn Perkins last night, but a 7th inning failure as well. Burton didn't pitch a clean inning, gave up a run to the White Sox, allowed them to tie the game. And he gets a very quick first out here in the 7th.
Yeah, Abreu started that 7th inning off with a base hit. Then he hit Viciedo, and then the RBI single came off the bat of Gillespie hit that ball to left field for the RBI single. That tied the game.
Viciedo, who was hit yesterday in the 7th inning, takes strike 1 from Burton. Just off the edge. 1-1.
Yeah, Jarrett with a fastball, a slider, and then a very good changeup. He's in his 3rd season with the Twins, 8th overall.
Popped up. Mauer coming in. Suzuki out, and Mauer in the shade makes the catch, 2 down. We'll bring up Carlos Sanchez.
2 quick outs for Burton. Only 4 pitches. Burton picked up a save in the other win on this road trip. Then on Tuesday in Cleveland, his 2nd save of the year.
Strike. One and 1.
Audition time here in Chicago too for a lot of their players. Sanchez, one of those players, at only 22 years old. With Gordon Beckham being traded, opens up second base.
1 and 2.
Down to AAA, hit 293. AAA is in Charlotte.
Tapper and Burton shovels it to Mauer and has a efficient, nifty, awesome 7th inning. You're watching the Twins and White Sox, brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200. Kansas City game. It's going to go down to the wire, and of course, you'd like to have your team, the team you're following, have something to play for at the end. But it's going to be a fun weekend in Detroit when we get there in a couple of weeks.
You know what Detroit's doing right now? They're maybe falling behind early, but they have that confidence that they can come back no matter how many runs they're down against the Indians. So starting tomorrow night, it'll be interesting against the Detroit Tigers in that 3-game series.
Michael Clayton will come in and pitch now for the White Sox.
Yeah, Clayton making his 24th relief appearance, 24 innings, 23 hits allowed, 18 walks with 21 strikeouts.
Oswaldo Arcia has singled, walked, scored a run. Inside, ball 1.
Clayton, a hard-throwing right-hander, fastball clocked in the upper 90s, a slider and a changeup. Spent 3 seasons with the Cardinals.
Nearly hit him. Another pitch further inside. 2-0. Arcia, Pinto, and Herman due up here in the Twins' 8th. Casey Fiend getting loose down in the Twins bullpen. The same formula that didn't work last night in the nightcap. It is hoped for will work today. Three fastballs, all of them over 95 miles per hour, none of them close to the strike zone. Pitch walk. Not too many times Arcia will walk in back-to-back plate appearances, but that's what's happened here today. We'll bring up Pinto.
Clayton, 25 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Went to spring training with the Kansas City Royals. They designated him for assignment and then picked up by the White Sox.
Looking at a shortstop who made a trip to the mound. Do you like it when infielders came to the mound?
I didn't mind it. I mean, I'm sure Ramirez probably came in and said, hey, throw strikes, trust us, let's go. And he listened.
Strike 1. Pinto 0 for 3. Twins are hoping to get some glimpses from Pinto of what he showed them last September. With 3 doubles, or a series with 3 doubles to right center field. Fouled back. Haven't seen a home run yet. In September. 2 strikes. Pinto gone on 3 pitches. Down.
A slider right there by Clayton picks up a strikeout.
Next year's Twins schedule's out, and it's a great one. The Twins open up on the road on April 6th. And it's time for you to renew your season tickets or maybe become a new member of the season ticket family on the home side. Along with the usual matchups against the division rivals, the Twins host National League favorites Milwaukee, the Cubs, the Cardinals, all coming to Target Field next summer. 833 Twins, or visit twinsbaseball.com. Find out more about the 2015 schedule. Outside, ball 1 to Herman. Herman with a single in 3 trips, an important single when the Twins scored a pair of runs in the 2nd inning. Lifted to left. And Viciedo with the catch, 2 down.
Yeah, that left field can be a little bare right just as the sun is starting to set.
By bare, you mean B-E-A-R, right?
Right, it can be a bear.
Backdoor Carsoup.com trivia question. I just threw out Yastrzemski's name because back in those days, Twins played the Red Sox 18 times, and it is Yastrzemski. Just under 300 games against the Twins.
The Twins, I know, we used to go to Fenway Park 3 times a year. They come our way. The Yankees.
In the 60s, 18 games against everybody else, the other 9 teams. 9 times 18 equals 162, right?
Very good.
In 1965, the Twins won 17 of the 18 games against Boston. Escobar with a runner at first and 2 down. Swing and a foul. Lato trying to pitch around the leadoff walk to Arcia on 4 pitches. One and 2.
Fastball clocked here at 97. Jams that ball in there and sets it up for a split finger. But then when he gets the sign, change it if it's in his glove. If it's not the splitter.
Bouncer, right side.
Looked like the splitter there.
Easy play for Sanchez. Fairly easy 8th inning for Plato. And didn't watch last night in the nightcap. This game kind of been played the way last night's game was. The Twins have been playing with the lead. The White Sox have drawn close. Haven't tied the game yet. And the Twins got 6 innings from their starter today. They turned the 7th inning over to Jared Burton. This time he pitched a scoreless inning. Casey Fiend will get the 8th as he did last night.
And he had a scoreless inning, faced only 3 batters through 11 pitches, 8 for strikes, had a strikeout. Fiend making his 70th relief appearance out of the bullpen.
No. Aaron Hicks is in the game in left field, replacing Chris Herman. Adrian Nieto, who homered his last time up, will lead off the 8th. Outside, ball 1. Sox getting a couple of runs in the fourth, one more in the fifth on Nieto's home run. And over for a strike. Be interested to see what the White Sox do with Nieto as a Rule 5 guy. He had to be with the club this year. He might have done enough this year to make the team next year on merit. Strike 2. As a Rule 5 guy, you have to stay with the major league club, and then as the Twins did with Ryan Presley, it might be in the player's long-term best interest to send him down to the minor leagues and get more playing time. 1-2 and a pitch fouled at the screen.
Well, I don't know if Tyler Flowers is the catcher for them in the future, and if they're going to be a club that wants to rebuild, this young man right here, Nieto, might fit in those plans.
Talked about Flowers last night. Very good first month and final month, but a lot of strikeouts in between. 1-2 to Nieto. 2-2.
Yeah, Nieto, a Rule 5 draft out of the Washington Nationals organization. 6 minor league seasons in the Nationals organization. A .255 hitter.
Swing and a miss. And Fiend starts his inning with a strikeout. One down. That'll bring up Eaton.
After Casey Fiend, his 50th strikeout and now 60 2/3 innings pitched. Only 10 walks, so he does a great job of attacking the strike zone.
Eaton with an infield hit. He was the first base runner allowed by May. Check swing ball 1. Came around to score on an Abreu single. Again, the impressive thing about May today wasn't the 3-1-2-3 innings to start his day. It's what happened when it looked like an entire inning was going to combust, and it didn't. A couple of runs, that was it. Shut the door.
Yeah, Ricky Anderson made a little trip out to the mound after 4 straight hits, and then he struck out the next 3.
Tapper back to Fiend, and he runs it halfway there, 2 down. And he'll bring up Ramirez. Ramirez with a double and a run scored. He hit it looked like a single to left field, but Chris Herman caught the first hop, planted to throw back to the infield, and lost his footing, and that allowed not only Eaton to go to third, but it allowed Ramirez to go to second.
Yeah, Casey Fiend faced Ramirez last night and popped out to Trevor Plouffe, and this time he hits a little fly ball to Escobar at second. So a quick 8th inning for Fiend, as the 7th inning was for Burton.
That was an awesome inning in the end. an insurance run or two.
We're trying to do that against Matt Lindstrom, coming in for the 30th time. He spent a lot of time this year on a disabled list and a sore left ankle. Making just his 30th relief appearance.
And Schaefer rounds a single through the right side. Schaefer's got his second hit of the ball game. Tigers are wrapping up their series at home, and should all goes well, beat the Tigers to the Twin Cities. It'll be Max Scherzer in our Century link to what's next, going up against Anthony Swarzak.
It'll be the second start this season for Swarzak. The other one, he pitched well. He got 5 innings in, got the win.
Santana with a pair of hits, a single, a double, and a run scored. He hooked a double into the right field corner his last time up. See if Schaefer takes off here. He's thrown out last night trying to steal. Just the second time in a Twins uniform.
Yeah, Swarzak getting the start because of that rainout we had on Wednesday in Cleveland, and then we had to play the doubleheader. So Gibson and Nolasco both worked on Thursday. So they didn't want one of those guys pitching on 3 days rest.
Then again, the hope was that Tommy Malone would be able to take the ball, but he had to cut short a bullpen session yesterday because of his neck issue. One strike to Santana, and Schaefer chased back to the bag again. Oakland leading Seattle in the second inning 1-0. Just a crushing way for the Mariners to lose a ball game last night. In the 10th inning, their closer Fernando Rodney walked 4 men to allow the A's to score the go-ahead winning run. There goes Schaefer taking off, and Nieto's throw nearly into center field. Schaefer swipes a bag. He's in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, his 13th stolen base in 15 attempts. He tried to steal a bag last night, was thrown out. Here the throw high, so Schaefer gets into scoring position.
See if that changes Santana's intent here. Corner infielder's up anyway. If Santana, for one means or another, can at least get Schaefer to third base, it'll probably force the White Sox to bring the infield in for Suzuki. Popped up, short left. Ramirez out, Viciedo in, one down. And Schaefer still at second base.
Yeah, not a quality at bat right there.
Suzuki in the 9th inning last night delivered an RBI double after the Twins had the chaos on the bases and the blunders that resulted in there being a runner at third with 2 out. And Suzuki, I mean, it really was a ground ball double. That ball hugged the ground and rolled by Gillespie at third base. Had it bounced up at all, he might have had a chance to at least knock it down and make a play. But for some reason, he hit a ball that by the time it hit the ground the second time, it just kept rolling instead of bouncing. 1-0 to Suzuki. And Schaefer to third. Safe at third.
Had a great job.
There's the advance that didn't happen in the Santana at bat.
He got a great jump right there off of Lindstrom. He looked real quick once. Nobody was really trying to keep him close to second, and he took off. First movement by Lindstrom. Good strong throw, but Schaefer able to get that left hand on the bag. And in what we have seen him do at second base, he does it here at third. Dives through the bag. And his body remains on the bag.
Now the White Sox do bring the infield in with 1 out, 1-1 the count to Suzuki. And to left. Deep enough to score Schaefer. That is manufacturing a run.
Wow, good strong throw by Viciedo, but Suzuki driving in another run. His second of the ball game and his 55th of the year.
Schaefer rolls one through the right side of the infield, steals second, steals third, and with one out, Suzuki lost one to left.
It's called stealing a run.
And now it's a 3-run lead for presumably Glenn Perkins, who's warming up down in the bullpen. Be surprised to see Perkins get the 9th inning, even if the Twins add on 5 more runs. Mauer with 2 down. Ball 1. And now 2-0.
Profanity.
See the shadows have crept out over home plate. And Mauer spanks a base hit to left.
Mauer picking up his 2nd hit.
He'll bring Plouffe to the plate. Again, this morning I just confirmed what I've heard other hitters talk about. The shadow, once it gets out about 2/3 of the way to the mound, when you're trying to pick up the spin and all that, that's when it really becomes difficult for the hitter.
Wow.
What?
Everything for the hitters. Pitchers have to have some advantage sometimes.
You're on a
They
mound.
lowered
You're
the
on
mound. Yeah, they lowered that baby.
I still think they ought to
Flatten
make
it
you
out.
guys pitch from flat ground.
Finally, something goes good. And all the hitters are complaining. I can't see the ball. Try facing Nolan Ryan in Anaheim at twilight.
Yeah.
That was not easy.
1 strike to Plouffe. The point being that right now it's not an issue.
I know there's a point.
2 strikes to Plouffe.
But the longer the Twins have this at bat here, the more it'll creep out, and that's going to hopefully help Perk.
One and 2 to Trevor Plouffe.
And if I'm Glenn Perkins, I just take my time up walking in. Wait until the shadow gets there.
Two and 2.
Lindstrom, 34 years old, in his 2nd season with the White Sox. Kind of penciled in as a closer at the beginning of the year, and then he got put on a disabled list.
Foul straight back.
Once a closer for the Florida Marlins, then the Houston Astros.
Up the middle, and a big hole up the middle. Plouffe has a base hit.
For Trevor Plouffe, his 2nd base hit of the ball game.
Probably been one of the better balanced offensive days the Twins have had in a while. You've got Santana with a couple of hits, Suzuki with a couple of runs batted in, Mauer with a couple of hits, Plouffe with 2 hits, a home run.
Well, it hasn't been one big inning and then shut the door. It's been 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 7th, 1 so far here in the 9th for a 6-3 lead.
And Perkins warming up. And is that Michael Tonka next to him? Starting to get loose?
I think so.
In case the Twins get a 3-run home run here from Arcia. Or a single to make it a non-save situation. 1-0 to Arcia. side, 2-0.
And that shadow's getting closer.
Pounded foul. And the Twins open up a series against Detroit tomorrow. And the way things look, Tigers are going to have a 1.5 lead on Kansas City. Hit hard, and a nice play by Abreu at first. It'll be a save situation for Glenn Perkins. Last night, 6 runs weren't enough for the Twins to win a ball game. We'll see if it is this afternoon. Had a 1-run lead in the 9th inning last night. It's a 3-run lead this afternoon, and Glenn Perkins, who blew the save opportunity last night, will face Jose Abreu to start the 9th inning again this afternoon.
Yeah, looking for save number 34 on the year.
First pitch fouled back, and that was kind of the theme of the opening plate appearance last night. One foul after another. Perkins ended up walking Abreu on 14 pitches. And then, of course, Viciedo hit the home run, and the White Sox had their doubleheader sweep. 2 quick strikes. And Perkins could not get, as hard as he tried, he could not get anything by Abreu for strike 3. Driven to left, deep down the line. And it's 6-4.
Waybach off that ball out. 0-2 pitch. Abreu hitting his 35th home run of the year. And Perkins right back on that saddle again after falling off the horse last night. That slider down and in, and look, not a bad pitch. He kind of hit a little 4-iron and hit it right down that left field line.
Making it now the 6th time in the last 8 outings that Perk's given up at least 1 run. Now a pop up wide of first. It's in the air a long time, and Escobar can't make the play. And it's a pop fly single for Semien, hitting for Gillespie, and the White Sox, just like that, will get the tying run to the plate. I don't know if Escobar overran it, took his eye off it for a while, and maybe couldn't pick it up again.
I think he was hoping that Arcia would be there. He kind of looked to where he was, and the ball kind of drifted back and got behind him. So Simeon credited with a base hit.
Now Garcia. Garcia's 0 for 3 today. Burke's thrown 4 pitches, has given up a run and another base hit. Strike on the outside corner. If you're a closer, of course, you want this. You had an awful outing last night. You want to get back out there as quickly as possible. Burke ended up getting just one out last night. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. They don't seem to be swinging at the slider as much as they used to. Now, why that would be, I don't know. But he's gotten hitters in 2-strike counts, and he can't get them to swing.
But that was a slider, looked like that Abreu golfed out. You know, a lot of times you try to throw harder, rather than the opposite. You want to maybe mix in that changeup once in a while. I know he has one.
93 high heat. The extra run the Twins got in the 9th inning looming large already here.
Well, Jordan Schaefer, remember in the top of this inning, got a base hit. Then he stole a base. There's Schaefer's home run right there. That was in the 4th inning. But Schaefer basically stole a run for the Twins in the top of the inning.
So now Taylor with Viciedo, the hero last night against Perkins, in the on-deck circle. Driven foul down the right field line.
Taylor pinch hitting for Wilkins.
Check swing, strike 2.
Taylor as a pinch hitter, 1 hit and 2 at-bats. Calls time.
Two strikes to Taylor. It's deep to the right field corner. Arcia on the track makes the catch for out number 2. And so here comes Diane Viciedo. Viciedo turned a loss into a win for Chicago with 1 swing of his bat.
Well, the at-bat for Viciedo last night. Viciedo, he kept fouling off pitches, took some nasty sliders down and in. He got that 3-2 fastball and the game-winning home run. Sox beat the Twins in Game 2, 7-6.
Today 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a foul out. Popped up. The outfield playing a very deep outfield, and Schaefer makes the catch in center, and Perkins gets the save today and gets Viciedo for the final out.
Well, good win for the Twins. Trevor May has now won 3 straight. Perkins picking up save number 34. Good job by Burton and Fiend. And good hitting by the offense.
Tom Hanneman, the biggest step forward yet for Trevor May, and the Twins end up winning the season series with the White Sox.